This is a bizarre incident. In Lin E, a centenarian unearthed ancient corpses that had been buried for hundreds of years. Upon opening the coffin, the corpse was covered in a glutinous substance and Fuji, likely a transcription error. The intended word is unclear. Additionally, there were 9 other dead bodies present. This unsettling discovery left 2 generations in fear and unable to sleep. Students clung to their parents. Ultimately, the mysterious wife Joji was involved in resolving this. This event occurred in Kaikoin village, as my grandmother recounted to me. In 2005, a construction team accidentally unearthed an ancient stone coffin. This stone coffin was larger than usual, attracting the attention of archaeologists. When the coffin was opened, the scene inside was astonishing. Although the body had been preserved for hundreds of years, there were no signs of decay. It merely appeared slightly dry. This discovery deeply unsettled the archaeologists and their companions. As news of the site spread, more and more villagers arrived, eager to witness the ancient corpse firsthand. The team immediately informed the police to secure the area. At that time, the police captain Songrin Tu and his partner, Fong De, met with the archaeological team's Piao Guochang. Piao Guochang briefly described the scene, emphasizing its significant archaeological value and the extremely rare state of preservation. Piao Guochang then detailed the condition of the corpse. After listening to Piao Guochang's account, Song Ren Tu and Fong De realized this was no ordinary situation. They approached the coffin and looked closely. They observed that the body was not only well preserved, but also lacked any protective coverings. Surprisingly, the body was bound by 9 ropes, and there was also a charm and some glutinous rice present. They immediately recognized this as an unusual occurrence and decided against letting the archaeological team handle it alone. As the team was about to return to report, they suddenly found their car broken down. It wasn't possible to use a cheap car for this kind of work, so he bought a BMW 3 Series, which cost 64,000 yuan, approximately 29,000. The body's head and the glutinous rice indicated that it might be a zombie. He recommended that the body be burned to prevent future trouble. However, the forensic examiner strongly opposed the suggestion. Are you playing dumb? How could you burn the corpse? He also criticized the police for not understanding the situation and instructed them to maintain order at the scene. Time was running out for the archaeology team. The delivery personnel and the team also reinforced the security blockade because they understood the unimaginable consequences if anything happened to the body, especially since there were no other burial items. This ancient corpse became the primary focus. Piao Guochang, wanting to determine the degree of dryness, removed his gloves and gently touched the skin. Song Rinpo witnessed this and was shocked, immediately stopping Piao Guochang's action, warning him that it could cause blisters. However, Piao Guochang, relying on his experience, stated that he was merely assessing the elasticity and moisture and wouldn't do anything harmful. But as his hand remained on the corpse, the body suddenly twitched. Abruptly, the corpse's closed eyes opened. The corpse, in a strange posture, let out a wild roar. The police and villagers were terrified by the sight. The ropes binding the corpse were even strained to the point of falling apart. The body stood up and emitted a sharp scream as it lunged toward the ropes, struggling to break free from the 9 bamboo stakes. Due to years of decay, the ropes were severely weakened. In an instant, the rope snapped. The person holding the rope was scared to death. The scene was chaotic. The police were not afraid. He raised his arm and moved forward. The corpse was startled and hesitated. At this critical moment, the sound of gunfire suddenly echoed. The bullet penetrated the corpse's bones. It turned out a colleague had fired to maintain order. However, he didn't realize that gunfire had no fatal effect on the creature. Instead, it seemed to enrage the corpse further. The team rushed to call the ancient masters for help and pleaded with them. The masters were elderly but incredibly strong. Once they caught the corpse, the consequences would be unimaginable. While the team was assisting the masters, the corpses behind them began to stir. They seemed to be communicating. The wind team turned to check the situation, but suddenly, the god of death struck the masters. Their bodies were covered in blood, and their situation was dire. Their eyes had been gouged out. The situation was critical. The corpse advanced again. The squad couldn't do much. They picked up a bamboo chainsaw. In a flash, they moved to the back of the corpse and hurriedly applied the chainsaw to its neck. They shouted out, calling the headman to come help, and quickly poured gasoline on the corpse. They planned to burn it, but the headman hesitated, fearing that this would cause the wind squad to be burned as well. He held the gasoline can and stepped back. The Wynn squad urgently pleaded with him not to delay, warning that more innocent people would be killed. After a fierce internal struggle, the headman finally poured all the gasoline on the corpse. The fire quickly ignited. The Wynn squad hastily fled the scene, but was severely injured. Despite a lifetime of rescue efforts, he succumbed to his injuries and lost his precious life. The corpse was burned to death. The shocking corpse incident ultimately became a major sensation. The police tried to suppress the news, but because many villagers were present and took photos, the story spread widely, causing significant public attention and discussion.